So I'm going to take, for those of you that don't know me, which many of you won't, unless you've been racing in Galway, I'm going to talk you through a little bit of background about myself. So I'm a Galway girl through and through. I'm 45 years of age, and they say, 40 is the new 30, which I'm hoping it is. This is me at school. I was a nerd. I loved school. I went to school in Taylor's Hill and loved everything about school. Loved my friends, loved where I went to school, loved having the crack. When I was younger, I wanted to be an air hostess because I loved travelling, I still do. And I also had my thoughts on becoming a midwife because I loved biology and I loved children. But my mother said to me, there's a lot of blood involved. I was like, maybe not so. But as you can see from where I am today, those plans didn't work out. This is my pride and joy. My son Sean, at Christmas, we went out to my best friend in LA. But my main message to you here today is, if it's meant to be, it's up to nobody else but yourself to drive your life on. As I said, I was a nerd in school. I loved school altogether. I finished in Taylor's Hill and I went on to what is now the ATU. I studied business and marketing. And then I went on to what was the University of Galway, did a postgrad in marketing, went on to Dublin, did a postgrad in the arts of public relations. And then a couple of years ago, I did something which I thought I would never do. So that's my second message here today. Make a bold move in your life. When was the last time you made a bold move? I had this notion, I was like, I'd love to study at Harvard Business School. Number one, how the hell would I get the finance? And number two, I actually felt, imposter syndrome, I'd never get in. But when my boss, I have a wonderful boss called Michael Maloney, and all you need is one person to believe in you. And we had a review a couple of years ago, and he's like, what would you love to achieve in 2023? And I was like, in 2022, in 2023, and I was like, God, I'd love to go to Harvard Business School. And I said, if I apply, I probably won't get in, Michael, but if I apply and I get it, when I apply and if I get it, would the race course back me? He's like, absolutely. So I'll never forget the day sitting in my office and this email came in. And I actually started crying. I thought someone was pulling my leg. I got accepted to Harvard, and the story now, very proud of that. So that was an amazing experience, and something I'll touch on in a second. But these are my fur babies. I studied business, as I said. My brother and I, Brian, were really great to have great parents who bought us 2 Connemara ponies, Fado. And we went on to ride and have the crack with the ponies going all around the country. Would have met Nina and her family, and Brian would have known Marion and the family and so on. And from there, when I was in college, I was like, I'd love to merge my love of horses and business. And that's then when I went on to work for Navan Racecourse. So another thing I want to emphasize here today is, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
That's the laser.
Oh, there you go. Every day's a school day. So when I was finished in UCG, as it was called at the time, I really wanted to work in racing because it was far more progressive in terms of sponsorship, revenue, the commercial aspect, which I love. I love making money for people and for myself, of course. And I was told racing is where you need to be. I'd done really well on my thesis in racing, the whole commercial side of it. And people told me, nobody in racing, you'll never get a job in it. So that's good enough for me to drive me on. My last day of my postgrad, and I happened to ring a good few race courses around the country. I was very fortunate to ring Navan, and Richard Little, the then manager, answered the phone, and I was like, hi, I'm Sinead, and I've just got this really good grade on my thesis. I'd love to come and offer my services free of charge for you. And sure, who's going to decline an enthusiastic young girl who's going to work for you for nothing? And I knew we had a really busy time coming up. So thankfully, he's like, no problem, come on up. So I went to work for Navan Racecourse, ended up staying 2 months. They eventually paid me, and it was Thomas Carberry and Paul that used to bring me out and show me all around Navan, because my brother knew the lads. And went to work for them for 2 months. And during that time, Matt O'Dwyer was the head of racing. Long story short, he got my thesis, gave it to Naas Racecourse. I then got a job with them, worked there for 4 years, went to Punchestown, worked for them for a year and a half, and then got the lure of the Do Re Mi for Dublin. And I got this really lucrative offer to be account director for a marketing agency in Dublin. And that role involved looking after big accounts with really big budgets, like Liffey Valley, Mahon Point, Athlone Town Centre. We launched shopping centres in the UK. I had a ball, but at the same time, I got married, and I had a gorgeous little boy, and I made the decision that marriage wasn't for me, so I hopped back to Galway, which was one of the best moves I ever made. And where else would you go but work for Supermax? Tasty and tempting. I was probably one of their best clients all through college, and loved working there for a year and a half. But at the time, being honest, I was going through a divorce, and it was just a very busy role. I was responsible for a team of 6. I was going through a lot, and going through a divorce is not easy for those that have gone through it. So I decided that I would leave that job. It was just all too much for me at the time. And lo and behold, on the Tuesday of Galway races, now remember, I had a barrister, a solicitor, I was going through a big court case, and all very good, never looked back, best thing I ever did. And the other thing was, it really was, and the other thing was the Tuesday that I handed my notice in, this is where luck kicks in, and I've been very lucky in my career. I was walking down Key Street during race week, having handed my notice in, knowing in a month's time I had no money coming in. And who did I meet? Only my gorgeous friend, Paddy Donegan. And he's like, Sinead, I have a job for you. And she is here, Anna May McHugh. Her daughter at the time, Anne-Marie. This is so weird how this is all synchronizing today. So he said, I have a job for you. The ploughing are looking for a press officer because Anna-Marie has just had a baby. And I said, look, I have to give a month's notice in Supermax. So I rang Anna-Marie the next day, and she's like, look, we'll wait for you. We'll wait the month. So lo and behold, I then hopscotched from Supermax in Galway down to the fabulous people at the Ploughing Championships. And I can tell, I'm not just saying this because you're here, Anna May, but it was just like such a nurturing environment for me. You work hard. Anna May is firm but fair. What I love about her leadership style is that she treats everyone the same, very much like how my parents are, regardless if you're the gentleman coming in to empty the bins or you're the president or Taoiseach coming down. For me, it's all about integrity, and she oozes that, and it's something I hope I have too. So I went down there not knowing anything about sheep shearing, ploughing. I mean, I had no clue. I came from marketing, Galway, show jumping, not a clue. But I rolled up my sleeves and I just got stuck down through because the nerd came out of me. I love information, I love learning. So I worked for Anna May and Anne-Marie for a couple of years. And at this stage, good news, my divorce was through. I'd bought a house in Galway and I wanted to settle Sean into school. So I got offered a lovely role in, many of you know this property, the beautiful 5-star G Hotel, and I headed up their sales and marketing for 5 years. And they say you learn something new in every role, which I so believe in. You may not stay in it for a long time, but you'll bring those learnings with you for every role. And in this role is really where I feel I learned most in my career. It was all about the customer experience. For me, where I'm working now, the fan engagement, looking after the guest, the art of turning your customer into your guest. I travelled all over the world with them. Here we are. Anne-Marie rang me when I was in this role to see could we sponsor the ploughing, of course. So Trina and I, the owner's daughter, we used to sponsor Best Dressed Lady. After 5 years here, I needed a new challenge. Every few years you need to stretch and grow as a person. And during this time, I was like, God, I'm back in Galway now quite a few years. I'd love to work for the Galway races. It's really where my heart is, that fire in my belly. And I approached Michael Maloney, had just taken over the role, and I rang him and I said, we'd love to sponsor Best Dressed Man. Philip Tracy would love to sponsor it. He's like, no. I was like, grand, okay. I'm never one to take no for an answer. So I rang him again about a month later and I was like, can I meet you for a cup of coffee? So off we went, met him for a cup of coffee. Kilkenny had just pulled out of Best Dressed Lady and he said, look, we actually, coincidentally, now have availability. I was like, grand, so we jumped on it. And in my mind at the time, I thought, I'm really going to make this work. This is going to blow it out of the water. And it did, thank God, because when you Philip Tracy involved in anything, designing hats for Lady Gaga, Catherine, the Windsors, etc., you're on to a winning formula. So I did that job. We sponsored Ladies' Day. It was a great success. And it just shows you never know what's around the corner in your life. And I've proven that. So about a week after Ladies' Day, Michael rings me, and I thought he was looking maybe for marketing advice or PR advice. And he said to me, can I meet you for a coffee? So where that conversation led to is the job. They created a role. I'm there 8 years and loving it. And it was going back to, again, what was giving me fire in my belly, the love of equine and business. So here we are. This is what I look after with the team. We've Olivia here as our new rising star. She's up from this direction, actually, and she's been a huge asset to our team. But the Galway Races is Ireland's, for those of you that don't know it, it's Ireland's largest horse racing festival. Each year it's been a leader of its field for many, many years, and we've a really strong team. This is what we call our KPIs. So we're fan-centric, it's an intent-driven strategy, but our whole values are around the love of racing, friendships, family, and fun, and that's what all our ideas and strategies come from. In terms of when I joined the team, I wanted to say, look, it's already a success. Galway is a phenomenal success, but how can we breathe new life into the race day experience? So there was 3 different areas we looked at, which is, this comes from a company in the UK called Two Circles. So there's 3 areas in your business. You've game changers, game breakers, and money makers. The money makers keep myself and Olivia employed. It's sponsorship, media rights, and so on. Your game changers are the factors that are most influential in your customer's experience, so stewarding, atmosphere, view, and the game changers. They're all the little things that are so important that have big impact, which I'll talk about now. So the whole philosophy we concentrate our business on is called the power of 1%. So the Sky cycling team, when they had all that massive change some years ago, it's all based on a philosophy called the 1% marginal change. So it's about looking at your business and seeing where can you improve it by just 1% at every touch point of your customer's journey. So when I joined the team, we did that, and thank God we know from our market research, our press coverage, customer feedback, that philosophy within the team is working. So that's a philosophy we work off, as did Sir Alex Ferguson when he was manager of Man United, Man City do it, Arsenal, all the big clubs, the NFL. It's all about breaking down your business and saying, how can we improve it to make it better for the customer? So I'm going to tell you some nuggets of what I've learned along the way. Number 1 is back yourself. Never stop learning. Again, the inner nerd comes out in me. When was the last time you did a self-development course, a professional course? There's so many courses out there right now that are free. There's so much information you can get now on LinkedIn. We've access to huge, powerful brains like Richard Branson through following them on Instagram and Twitter. So it's always back yourself. I mentioned I never, and I really mean this, I never thought I'd go to Harvard Business School. It just shows you, when was the last time you made a big move in your life? Like Nina Carberry going off to Europe, please God. Make big moves in your life. You've only one life to live. The next thing is learn from the very best. With the greatest respect to businesses here in Ireland, I never look at what's going on in Ireland. I always look at what's going on in the NFL in America, what's going on in the golf, what's going on in Premiership football. And again, making those big moves. Last year, Michael and I said to him, and he said to me, who would we love to speak to globally about what we do to see how we can improve? So I was like, my hit list is Tottenham Hotspur, £1 billion stadium. I'd love to see how they run their hospitality, their media centre, the facility itself. And I also mentioned Wimbledon. So lo and behold, we went, we asked them, and they accepted. Off we went last year, and we visited Tottenham, and we visited the head of marketing for fan acquisition in Wimbledon. She's now taken over the Premier League. And what we learned from them, just by asking them, can we have a cup of coffee with them? And we were going to fly to London to meet them. And they said yes. So all a person can say is no. Make that bold move. The other thing is I'm a big believer in your values. So legacy over currency every time. Like me being lured to Dublin all those years ago with a big, 6-figure salary. Did I stay in it long? No, a year and a half. It wasn't me. Really stay true to who you are and what you believe in. So diversity of thought and team. Surround yourself with a really great team. Diversity of culture, diversity of language. It's so important because everybody's opinion matters. And the more opinions you have around the table, the better you can be. Your brand, guard your brand. It's so important online, in your business, in your personal. It's so important to guard your brand. I'm a big believer in that. The next thing is be kind. It costs nothing. Be empathetic, listen to people. You don't have to agree with them, but be respectful. The other thing then is align with a good cause. It's something we're really passionate about in Galway Racecourse. When I worked for the G, this fabulous lady here called Anna O'Quinna was head of Breast Cancer Research Ireland. And we worked with her on a couple of projects to raise some money for breast cancer research. When I joined Galway, I wanted to align the business with a really good cause. And at the time, we were given an October bank holiday meeting. So I was like, right, we need to get bums and seats at the races, but we also want to give back. It's so important. So I looked up what October meant in terms of, charity, what was going on. And lo and behold, again, synchronicity was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we approached the hospital, the Breast Cancer Research Institute, and said, we want to put on a race day for you. Number one, it benefits us, people coming into the track. We were the first race course in Ireland. Don't know if Nina remembers this. We had the jockeys in pink jodhpurs. We had, everywhere you looked, there was pink. To this day, we've raised nearly 250,000 for breast cancer. And I'm delighted to say they invited me on their board. So I'm now a board member of a real passion project of mine, breast cancer awareness and research. So align yourself with a good cause. It's so important to give back. The other one is Heike and Marion spoke about this with Shane, your mindset. If I had to do a job in another life, it's probably sports psychology. I had the gift of mentorship from the Irish rugby team sports psychologist, Enda McNulty. He was also an All-Ireland Gaelic footballer. When I was in the G, he said he was there with the Irish rugby team during Joe Schmidt's time, and he's like, Sinead, you know, I've seen you around here for the last few days with the staff. What is your dream job? And I told him at the time I just declined that dream job, which was in Ascot. I couldn't go at the time. And he's like, I'm going to offer you the gift of mentorship. And I was like, Jesus, love that, but how much will it cost? Because, you know, single mom, all that was going with that. And he's like, no, it's my gift to you. So I've been very fortunate to have the gift of mentorship from Enda McNulty. I now sit on his board as well, and it's been the most powerful thing that I've ever done in my life. All you need is one person to believe in you to make that switch. And Enda came into my life where I needed that. He made me believe in myself, stretch and grow. Every session we have, every few months, he'll say, right, Cassidy, what impact are you going to make on your life in the next 90 days? Be it financial, health, wellness, career. He's always looking to make you stretch and grow. I'm very fortunate that he has the likes of Brian O'Driscoll and other many well-known sports stars under his belt. So his gift of mentorship has been huge to me. But then now it's on me. Who do I offer the gift of mentorship to? So I've also been helping some students and university students, just guiding them and helping them stretch and grow. The one thing he'll always say, and it's something I live by, look at the likes of, in my sport, Rachel Blackmore. She's humble, she's hungry, and she's hardworking. And they're my key values going forward. So if you can, offer the gift of mentorship. Be there to help someone else along. You don't have to be, in contact with them every day, every week, but it's just touch base to help them stretch and grow and to open their eyes to new opportunities that they may not see in themselves. The importance of failure. My God, I have failed and failed and failed again, but I'm now friends with failure. I embrace it. I fail, I get up, I dust myself down, and off I go, kick on again. It's something I've learned. As I mentioned, my boss and my board in Galway, they just let you off. We have tried so many things, some successful, some not so successful, but the thing is to try. Do your research, know what you want to achieve, see others do it, and then you give it a try. And if it doesn't work, so be it. Kick on and try something else. It's a big thing, and to bounce back from it. Embrace failure. Like the gym, the people with the biggest muscles take the most resilience. It's all about that 1% marginal gain. What I've learned, again, a great quote by Stephen Bartlett, one way to shake off your own conditioning is to hang around with tremendously confident, ambitious people who think sky's the limit. You can't help but through osmosis be affected by that. I read an interesting stat, I actually heard it on a podcast, and it was a Cambridge study recently showed that it's so important you're careful who you surround yourself with, be it the person in the desk next to you in your office, be it your housemate. If someone is of that elite performance mindset, you will improve your own performance by 15%. And likewise, if they're very much that drain, just everything is miserable, you deplete your own mindset and ability by 30%. So that's recently come from Cambridge, and it's so important to be careful who you surround yourself with. I'm a big believer in connections and collaborations. Your circle will determine your outcome. Or it's so important, particularly Nina, heading off to Europe, please God, to take time for yourself and Ted and the kids. But have boundaries. Really, really recharge the engine when you can. Brain power. I've spoken about it now. We all upgrade our phones. We upgrade our watches. When was the last time you upgraded your brain? Go to a course. Be around, really inspiring, motivational people who have proven it. And you can't help but be affected by that. Kiss, I don't mean guys or girls. Well, that too. I mean, keep it simple, stupid. It's so important. Strategy meetings, plans, they can be very complicated. Keep it simple. The simpler, the better. And think big. I'm so important in thinking globally. Don't just think nationally. Think globally in whatever you're doing in your career, and look to others who offer best practice at what you're at. As I mentioned, I'm a big nerd, so books for me that have had a big impact in my life. Atomic Habits, I read it during COVID. It's really, really powerful book. Again, a 1% marginal gain. Enda, who I work with, he's released a great book called Commit to Lead. A really, really good book. I'd highly recommend it. And 2 other books, The Morning Miracle, How to Transform Your Life and Take the Reins on Your Day Before It Takes You. And the last one, just a great one for life in general, The 4 Agreements. couple of things I just want to touch on. Podcasts, I'm always in the car. These are a few podcasts that I love to listen to. How to Fail with Elizabeth Day, our own Galway girl, Sheila Shoiga, David McWilliams, if you're into what's going on in the economy, he gives a really simple layman terms what's going on. I listen to him. And of course, I love Stephen Bartlett and Mel Robbins. Just some really good stuff to listen to, to get your brain saturated with really positive self-development and professional development. I go back to that one line, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. It's up to nobody else, no excuses. If you're having a miserable life, it's down to you. Change it. Small changes every day really do help yourself. I need to take this advice at the moment in my own life. This is the one I love. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who believes in herself and is ready to make shit happen. It's a really good one. The last one, get uncomfortable. It's a cliche. It's been a big thing for me. Like, I'm always doing things that are out of my comfort zone. I was telling Olivia, my mum, coming up here in the car, like, I'm not a great rider. My brother is gifted with that ability. I'm probably the one that's better at business. But just before COVID, I was like, right, I'm really going to get uncomfortable here. And, every year since I got divorced, I try to do one thing that scares the shit out of myself. Because I never thought I'd leave a marriage, let alone do what I'm doing now. So pre-COVID, I was like, right, I met Gordon Elliott at the race, and I was like, Gordon, can I come up and ride out with you? Now, I'd never sat on a racehorse before. So I rang my brother, and he's like, yeah, you're well able. They'll go with some clip now, but you'll be grand. So up I went, very different from riding a show jumper to a racehorse, let me tell you. So I did it for 11 weeks, and I scared the bejesus out of myself, but I did it. Now, I was so glad when COVID kicked in, as was my mother, she told me on the way up here, because I got tanked off it numerous times, but I still did it. Just believe in yourself. And the thing for me was I'm really I love a challenge, sometimes too much. So when a horse would take off on me on a morning and I'd go up the following Saturday, I was like, right, I want that horse again. Because I'd be talking to myself going up in the car and I'd be visualizing, sitting back, bridging the reins. And I was like, this horse, he's not going to tank off me this week. So it's that determination. And I won't do it again. I'm no rider in that department. But it's just set yourself goals and make big moves in your life. No regrets. Just crack on with it. And again, this is my lucky charm, my gorgeous son, Sean. See, these are all the things. I was told I could never have children. I never thought I'd ride out with Gordon. Being acknowledged for things that we've done at the race course. And I'm shitless of deep water. And one summer I went up the top of Blackrock. And yeah, that's me jumping off. Again, something I thought I did once, never again. The last thing is looking ahead to Galway. Shane and Miriam and Sarah talked about it's the year to champion. And Equitas, I commend you what you're doing here today. It's so important and it's just the start. You're just starting to play ball here. But for us in Galway, because we're such a powerful brand, we love to empower and champion other people. So I'm delighted to say 2024 is our year to champion. We want to champion an up-and-coming flat jockey, Amy Jo Hayes. We've taken her under our belt. A lot of fun going on with her. We want to champion the environment. We've a lovely documentary coming out about guardian of the green, sustainability, things Michael and the team have been doing for years, but we're just starting to showcase it. We want to champion the fan. We have our brand ambassador program. We want to champion a local artist who we've Emma O'Toole in our office is leading that project. And of course, the big passion project for us is we want to help a fellow Galway native who had a life-changing accident, Graham Lee, and that's a ball we're hosting for him on the Saturday night of the Galway races with the help of Ruby Walsh and AP. So if you can, whatever industry you're in, it's so important to champion other people, support, mentor, be there where you can. So 12 weeks to go, I spoke about Galway races, back to what it's all about for myself and Olivia. It's Ireland's largest horse racing festival. Our list of the things that we've, as a business, achieved are growing in the right direction, thank God. We have a great team with CEO Michael Maloney at the helm. But really, what have we to look forward to at Galway? We have 800 horses due on site, 53 races, 160,000 pints of Guinness to be pulled, crates of champagne coming in, 130 hours of grass to be cut, and so on. It's there for you, and we hope to see you. There's not one for everyone in the audience, but we have a few tickets to give out at the end of this, and thank you for your time.
Can you turn this back out?